Hey guys, welcome to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hainer. Tonight we got Tyren Johnson from Louisiana United. Tyren, what's going on in France?
Quarantine and lockdown, but making the most of it, trying to make the most out of the situation. Happy to be with you guys this evening. Well, it's this afternoon for you guys.
Time is irrelevant. It's a construct.
Yeah, got you.
The concept of time is all over the place, but yeah, no, we really appreciate you jumping on live from France. Glad to hear you're doing well and staying healthy. And over there in France right now, you got some good things going on with your team. So your current team's in first place. You're leading the league in scoring. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's like to play overseas and a little bit about the league. Is it going to be starting back up? Is it canceled for the year? And what brought you out there to France?
France is a good league. It's a good country. First of all, for basketball, it's a lot of players that leave France, come to the U.S. and play in other countries in Europe. But I came out here, I want to say my second year overseas. I played in one country, the Champagne capital. It's called Reims, but it's pronounced Reims. And I played 1 year in the south of France, and the last 3 years I've been in the city called Blois. And right now we was in first place. And I was leading the league in scoring and efficiency, and I was one of the top shot blockers. So it's been a great season for me so far. And we got cut short like everybody else through the coronavirus. And the league is saying that they won't start up again till September. So it's a couple of situations. They might make us the champions, or they might add the games, the record, to the next season. But we'll start the season with new rosters. So French basketball, the league still isn't canceled yet. It's the only league that still isn't canceled. So the French is trying to find a way to finish the season some kind of way, but it's not going to happen. So now they're trying to finish the solution of what they're going to do for the season. But a lot of people in France want the season just to be wiped out, like a white season, like nothing happened. So it's weird, man.
And real quick about that, I mean, one thing I bet is it because of the relegation? Like, because obviously, I bet the bottom two are like, you're in Pro B. What's the relegation process? Is it bottom two, bottom three? Who gets relegated?
The bottom team in Pro B got relegated, but it was different. I think 2 teams from Pro A was coming down to Pro B this year, and 1 team was going to Pro B. And that's the thing, because I signed back to this team. I played here. I say 2017 I signed here. We won the championship. So we were supposed to go to the first division, and I signed a 2-year deal. But we didn't have a younger team. In France, you gotta have a younger team it's like an academy, basically. So I signed the deal, not knowing that was not gonna let us in Pro A. It was on the fence, and I was like, man, we won a championship. We earned our way, and I signed a 2-year deal, so I got stuck here. Last year was a terrible season for me. I got injured. We got a bad mix of guys. This year, we dominate the league, and we in first place again to go to Pro A, and this happened. So now it's the second time in 3 years that we can't go to Pro A.
So hang on, because in a lot of I mean, this is one of those things that I'm personally very fascinated by as pro reg. And it sucks they're keeping you down. You earned your way up, you didn't go down. So if you're in first place this year and they don't wipe the season, then Blue Eye goes up, right?
Blue Eye goes up.
And then mainly because, I mean, you're the leading scorer, so you have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the year I came here, I think it was the second year there was in Pro B, because there was in National 1, which is the 3rd division in France. And they came up to Pro B. When I came here, we won a championship. The first year we got a new gym. So it's like, it's crazy. And right now it's like, the problem with Pro B and Pro A, a lot of people are like, Tyren, what are you doing in Pro B? The crazy thing for me is every team I've played on in Pro B has went to Pro A. So my market over here is a little bit higher. So I make more money in Pro B than Pro A teams offer me. So it's kind of like you fight to play in the first division, but it's like right now I'm getting offers from Pro A teams from everywhere. But Blue Eye just offered me another deal that's worth way more. So it's
money talks.
Yeah, at 31, my dream was to play in the NBA. If I'm not playing in the NBA, then I'm playing in a comfortable situation with the most money. And in France, you get paid no matter what. It's like most countries are not paying their players right now. or they're cutting their salaries by 50% or by 75%. But in France, we still get our full check. So
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I mean, a lot of interesting things that go into some of the overseas leagues, and I hope they get it back going for you. Obviously, sounds like possibly an MVP season, so I'd like to see that get on record for you guys with the first place team championship, and we'll see how they do those postseason awards. But let's go over to TBT a little bit. So this is going to actually be your 5th year participating in the TBT. You played as a player a couple years with the HBC franchise, and then branched off and became a player GM. So just tell us about what you like about the TBT, how you got involved, and why ultimately you wanted to form your own team.
Well, I always wanted to represent Louisiana some type of way, and we just didn't have the representation or the coming together. As you can see, most of the Louisiana team is barely Louisiana guys on the team. It's hard to get a bunch of Louisiana guys together on one team because guys are still playing in the summer, guys are injured. But I started off with HBC because I knew my guy Nick Isabella, and he's a close friend of mine. So I just wanted to support him and a couple of guys that was on the team. And then after that, I met this guy from Arkansas named Jeremy, and he was the GM of a team, but I think he got kicked off the team, and he wanted to start a team, and he knew how to do the TBT process. So we met him, and I told him, man, let's call it Louisiana United. So we came to Louisiana, and we put a run together with a bunch of NBA players, Marcus Starton, Brandon Bass. It was just a bunch of guys in the gym, and we were just excited. When it was time to play, none of those guys showed up. So we went with the team we went to the season before when we played in Richmond. And we had some Louisiana guys, Bo McCaleb, Paul Carter, me, Tyren Johnson. And that was a good year for us. But last year, we went more Louisiana guys, but guys got injured. Like Bernard King, his daddy died the week of the TBT. So it's just been unfortunate for us, but it's been fun every year, man. Like putting together this team. This year team, though, we stacked.
Yeah.
Oh, you are definitely stacked on this team. Did you just say Tyren Johnson, Memphis wing Tyren Johnson? That Tyren Johnson, the one that plays in the Middle East?
No. Tyren Johnson, he went to Louisiana Tech. He played in France.
See, I was all confused. I'm not that bright. You got to remember, I'm not that smart. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of funny. So you're a fellow Louisiana guy because my pop's military, we moved around. I actually graduated from Slidell High, which is right across the lake from you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Slidell right there.
Yeah. What's it like fronting a team that's based on a Louisiana? Like how do you guys deal with all those different United teams? Because we've had a lot of blended alumni teams, and it's really interesting to see like somebody fronting a whole state.
Right. Well, we was trying to get the best player from each part of the state. That was the initial plan. But it's like last year, Sean Long is like my little brother. And he went to the same university as me, but he ended up signing to play with Kyle Hines. And I'm like, well, it's $2 million. They're kind of stacked. Sean is kind of high profile. I would love the loyalty, but I kind of understood when he signed with them. But that's what happens with a lot of our good guys. They get taken by the bigger teams. And it's hard, man, because Louisiana is so spread out. We got the south of Louisiana, and then we got the middle that's all forest. And then you got Shreveport, Monroe, and everything. That's almost Texas. That's almost Dallas and Arkansas.
It's like 4 different states.
Right. So trying to get the best guys in each part was real tough, but, through communication, we starting to get that. Now everybody's getting excited because they're seeing what we've done with 6 players last year. So a lot of people was kind of excited about playing this year. We're still missing a few. We just got one more commitment. That's a pretty big commitment. I won't say his name until he's on the roster, but it's gonna be good this season. He's from Louisiana too.
By the way, the Louisiana thing, real quick, we want to know what region's got the best food. Go ahead and be honest.
I'm biased. I struggle with food everywhere I go. I went to school in Lafayette, and I struggled because it was different from New Orleans. So for me, the region is New Orleans for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple times you only played with 6 guys last year, and I think that Jackson, Tennessee game goes a lot differently last year, with a full roster. Bring it back to core your team with yourself, obviously one of the best three-point shooters in TBT history, leading scorer last year. You got Bartley back, Richard back, Tolbert back. And then the new players are interesting. You already mentioned Sean Long, who's just a dominant big. I really liked watching him play with the Sixers and seeing him
So
in the
much
G League.
size.
Yeah, he's a beast. And then some of your other guys, just real good specialty players too. Corey Davis, just an amazing sharpshooter, and Mikhail Kaiser, just athletic defender. So, are you intentionally? What did you see last year, and did you intentionally go out and to fill these roles? And then obviously, should he be able to cover the loss supposedly pretty easily?
Right. You see, the thing for me was Posley wasn't from Louisiana, but Posley was such a huge factor for us. I thank him so much because Posley showed us that we don't need a traditional point guard. And that's kind of where Corey Davis is going to have to fill in because Posley is just a scorer. He could play the point, but Posley get the job done. If you need him to pass, he's going to pass. If you need him to score, he's going to score. But what I noticed was what teams struggled was our size. We're all versatile. Pat 6'4", I'm 6'7", Tolbert 6'7", and now we got Sean and Kaiser. They're 6'9", 6'10". We got all playmakers. And we got another guy named Dwayne Benjamin. He's a wing. He's 6'7". So I was like, put a whole bunch of playmakers around the sharpshooter so they can't double me in the post. Corey going to shoot the face off. Pat can shoot the face off. And we got Sean and Kaiser and me to help rebound. And Tolbert's just a load down. I was like, we got all athletic guys that can switch on defense and that's in shape. That's the key. Most guys don't be in TBT, don't be in shape. We work out in Louisiana in the summer a lot. So I wanted all hungry guys with point to prove. Louisiana guys kind of struggle in skill sometimes, but aggressiveness and energy, we always have it. So that's why I'm excited about this roster.
No, there's a lot of depth on that roster. I mean, I'm looking at it too. And talking about the region for a little bit. So you're going back to Jackson, obviously, and you guys already did well last year. You beat a couple of big alumni bases. You beat Arkansas. You beat my Memphis Tiger team, which I was very bitter about, obviously. And then you just ran out of gas. Obviously, as Charge said, we lost Charge for a minute. He'll be back in just a second. This is still a gettable region. So you got the underdogs who are the defending champs. You've got the Volunteers who just announced Tennessee. So I'm definitely rooting for you guys over them because literally screw Tennessee all day. You got Team Arkansas who you've already got once. And then you got a lot of other teams. Team 901, the Super Crew, Grit and Grind, possibly a Memphis team. I mean, it's a region without a favorite, but with a lot of depth. Where do you see you guys mixing in there as a seed and also as expectations?
I'll say watch out for Super Crew. I'm going to tell you right now. Watch out for Super Crew. I know a lot of those guys. I live in Houston, so I know Jonathan Simmons, that's like my brother. Shannon Shorter, he's a killer. There's a lot of good guys on that team. But in that region, I'm not sure how the ranking and all of that goes, but I just know that the Tennessee team is going to be kind of talented too. I was going after Kevin Punter. I played with him in Greece. That's my guy.
Yeah.
But I understood he played at Tennessee, so it's an alumni thing. But it's going to be an interesting region. I think it's going to be better than what most people think because you got the underdogs, they play hard. The Super Crew, all those guys play hard. The Tennessee, those are all slim guys that runs real well. Duke Cruz, super athletic. That's my guy. So it's going to be a lot of competitive basketball going on in Jackson Forest, energy and aggressiveness. That's for sure what I see. So I don't know where we will rank because I don't know how they do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, there's obviously, and I apologize for dropping off. I live out here in the boonies, man. One internet choice, and you get what you get. So appreciate you guys carrying on.
Ain't no thing.
But the one thing we definitely want to talk about a little bit here is probably the most infamous game in TBT history, bar none. Overseas Elite versus Louisiana United in the round of 16.
And what happened, Charge? What happened?
What happened? I've heard kind of one side from some people on there. I can't wait to hear Tyron's side first, but I did some Twitter polls immediately following, and about 80% of people say that was a clear foul. So that at that point in time, I'm guessing Overseas Elite had probably strung off 24, 25 straight victories without a loss, and you guys obviously had them right there on the rope. So take us through the ending of that game. I think Hayner may be trying to pull up the video here. So
You guys want to see it now? Let's do it.
Let's see it first, and then get the comment.
Okay, here we go. Tyron, I'm sorry to bring up some bad memories.
Oh, it's all good. This is actually my second time this happened to me with them. Not this bad. I'll tell you about the other time. Oh, come on. Let's go. Oh, come
it's
on.
there. It's right there. It's the swing down, I think, is what ended up being the thing.
Right. The thing is, though, we got a man out in transition, ready for a layup. Nice, hard-fought game. Best man wins.
I mean, so what's your thinking there? Because my thinking is it's obviously a foul, but time and situation. There's a few people who honestly disagree about whether or not you call fouls based situation. I'm a big the fouling does change the clock. Like I don't think you make that call in that way because like the initial strip is clean. The guy defending is in position. So the first two contacts, both the forward and the reach-in guard, are pretty clean. And at that point, all hell's broken loose. You've already got two contact points that are legal. The swing down, that's a tough call, I think. What's your opinion there, Tyron?
But I don't want to be long with it. I'm gonna shorten this up as quick as possible. The crazy thing is I played with Justin Burrell in France. So it's like a little rivalry there, and I know Pargo, I know those guys. But we played them, I think 2 years before that in Charlotte. And I was playing with Team HBC, and we had Justin Gray, me, Anthony Hilliard, and we had Overseas Elite on the ropes again. and we had foul trouble with the last 5 minutes, and DJ Kennedy took over because we had nobody off the bench. Scott Machado had broke his collarbone. Alex Tyus had just messed up his knee. We had a squad, man. So that was my second time them getting away from me. So that game, when that happened, I understand a foul is a foul. You know, I hate for the game to go down like that, but the game was very intense. They had just got, I think, 2 foul calls before that play to end the game at the free throw line. And we was like, yo, we can't let them keep ending the game like this. And then when we got the strip, we like, yo, we did it our way. And then come to find out, we had a man wide open for a layup, and he called the foul. So we're frustrated about that, but you can't put the referee in a situation. The referee is in a tough spot. You know,
it really was the right call. I mean, it's just one of those things situationally, you know.
Basketball, the thing I like about the TBT, the thing I like about the Elimending, it kind of goes back to the streets. It kind of go back to street basketball. And in that situation, that's kind of like a street rule. When the teams are fighting, you don't let the whistle determine the game. He can't drive and double team. He got to make a better play.
What's funny there is in a game, and we all play for in games. In a game, that's where like people complain for 5 minutes. That's not a call. That's not a call. And people just stand around waiting for the argument to settle, and like the next team's like wondering what's up. And that's the kind of call you don't get that at the Y. You don't get that at the playground.
No, you don't get that. You don't take that drive. Either you got to take a long three or you got to make a pass. But you don't take that drive in the traffic when it's a hard-fought game and the game's on the line. Now, you don't take that drive.
Yeah, so you mentioned the Elimending, and that's going to be my question. If obviously, I think we all agree that they're obviously the call very tough for the rest, tough position to be in. But playing an Elimending style, that foul should not be called. So your opinion on the Elimending overall? Obviously, it brings an incredible intensity to the game. But your experience with it, especially this call, are you a Elimending fan, or would you rather see it go back to time clock?
I think everywhere in the world should use Elimending. One, the game's about excitement. And just like that game, I think we was down maybe 10 points, I think, in the Elimending. And we made one switch. We put Akil at the 5 and me at the 4 and went little, and the game changed. They was taking quick threes, and we was sticking to our guts, and we end up having a chance to come back. The game's so boring when it's just fouls at the end of the game and people walking, and then like it's boring. People want to see excitement, just like the All-Star game. I want to say they took that from TBT, and it worked out. You see how hard the guys played. I think it's amazing. First, you got $2 million on the line, and you got the Elimending, meaning that you have to play to the last second. There's no walking. There's no let me just foul you until the time run out. That's boring, man. Basketball is about excitement, and I love it. I think every level should have it.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get a lot of agreement from me in charge there. Elimending's really, it's really interesting because like there's a trade-off in the sense like you don't get this sort of buzzer beaters, the Bryce Drew and Valpo moment, but like on balance, it's so much of a better way of ending games. Plus, it's very much what we all do at the Y. We all do at the playgrounds. It's how we finish games in every league besides clock leagues. But yeah, so I guess we're all in agreement there. But touching on the story today, we can't really not mention the whole COVID thing. Like you say in France is pretty much under lockdown. Like how are you staying in shape in their COVID? And also like how is it impacting your ability to organize your team? Like how's it dealing with the logistics of the time?
Well, for me, nothing changes for me because I'm always in quarantine pretty much anyway. Not being able to speak the language, I pretty much go to the gym, come home. I go out when I can, but I can't really interact with people because they'll speak French and they speak it fast. I can understand basic French, but I don't understand when we have a full conversation. It's kind of tough for me. But it's cool. You know, my days, I wake up normally at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock and I work out directly. And I'm a disciplined person, man, because, you know, I got like businesses outside of basketball and I try to stick to my own little schedule so that I can stay on top of everything. Besides that, my life is pretty much the same. But as far as picking a team, my contract is up with this team. I signed for 3 years. And this year it's like, you know, they just offered me another contract. And I got a couple of contracts other places, but it's kind of tough. It's like, what do I do? The other places are offering me way more money than France, but France has the security of the government. So if we don't play, we're still going to get paid.
Right.
In other places, if we don't play, we don't know what's going to happen, you know? So it's kind of weird right now to choose another job because you got France, you got security, you got big money other places. So that's where I'm at right now. It's kind of a tough time.
Yeah, no, I think the money security obviously has to weigh in quite a bit, especially when you're that far away from your home and family, and so good luck as you make that decision for your future playing. You mentioned some of the things you do personally, and I've been kind of fascinated by some of the things I've read on your website and some of your podcasts. You know, so I know you got TyrenJohnson.com, so people can go check that out. But you know, you pride yourself in a lot of mentorship and really trying to guide and bring some younger, you know, whether it be players or youth under your wings. So just tell us a little bit about you know, that piece of your life.
Well, I started off being a freelancer. I was trying to make money while I was playing basketball. We have so much idle time. I was like, yo, I need to do something else. If I'm working 3 hours per day or 5 hours, I usually do 5 hours a day in basketball. Sometimes we practice twice a day over here, but in Blois, it's optional. One practice is optional. But most places, you probably work out for basketball 4 hours. If you do something extra, 5 hours. So I was like, yo, I sleep 7 hours. I got another 7, 8 hours where I do nothing. So I started freelancing as a side hustle, and that led into me doing my own basketball camps in the summer. And during those camps, I started developing relationships with kids, and it turned into a mentorship program. And it just kept on going and kept on going. And then next thing you know, I got a whole full-blown mentorship academy, I guess. And that's what the podcast is based off. It's basically like free information I'm giving that I would give my mentor, the kids that I mentor. I give most of it for free on the podcast because mentorship is all personal, so everybody's story is different. So I got that going, and I freelance every now and then, but I make beats. That's kind of like my second income. I make beats for rappers, and like for people's vlog. And in the summer, I'm pretty much a videographer and a photographer too.
It's pretty funny. You're talking about the beats, and you've got quite the setup there. You got the whole sound room. I've seen the sound baffles. I mean, Charles and I were talking about, yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm an architect, so I actually was commissioned once to do like a sound room for a musician. It didn't work out.
Okay.
He wanted to pay me a lot less, but I'm seeing all the stuff I had to spec for him. So,
Yeah.
what are some musicians you've enjoyed working with over the years when you've made these beats? Anybody we'd know?
No big guys, no big name guys. Just a lot of local guys from Louisiana.
Okay.
Some of my friends that want to rap. But the thing is, I sell my beats on my website, and it's all digital download. So I don't even know the people that buy my beats.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
just market it through my blogs, and I market it like on social media, and I don't even know who buy my beats, to be honest with you.
So it's funny too, because like, and we're gonna lose Vince for a minute. That's fine, because like, you're in France, and if you've been following the IG live of guys like all the different DJs have been doing all the beats live, and one guy they had Premier, and you're out in France where Guru from Gangstar, if you remember him, actually ended his career, and I was wondering if that still was that a story in France, like still or not really?
Nah, never even
No.
heard of it.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, then I just showed my age right there is what I just did, actually. That's pretty funny. Okay, so what's a typical workout for you look like? Like, you talk about getting at 9 a.m., and it's just for people listening, I was actually messaging you back and forth despite the hours at 5 a.m. I'm like, why aren't you in bed? He's like, I got to work. So, like, what does getting up early like that, like, what are your workouts like at 5 a.m.? Like, what are you trying to do?
But I have a whole little system, man, to where I set it up. It's kind of something I do with my mentees, is I set up how to work out in the off season, how to work out in season. It's different workouts for every season. Right now I'm in the off season, so I'm doing pretty much strength building, a lot of balance work and corrective, like sprint workouts, landing workouts, and just really trying to get bigger. So it's a lot of static push-ups, a lot of heavy stuff. And when it comes down to the running, I might jog a little bit of mile and I might run uphill. But I kind of mix it up. But most of it is it's not too much movement and running. It's mostly just strengthening the exercise.
Right. All right, so we're starting to get towards the end of our time today. We like to always drop this question out there: your best memory of the basketball tournament. And unfortunately, you got some great wins, but that overseas elite is probably the biggest memory, not for a good way. But aside from that moment, what's your favorite memory of the TBT, whether you individually, your team, or something you saw on TV?
It would have to be the shot against Memphis, the game winner in Memphis. Yeah, I mean, because we wasn't. I feel like we wasn't supposed to win that game. Like we was.
You weren't.
Overman. We was. they had the body, the talent. We had 6 players. We was tired. So I don't know how we won that game, but that probably would be the highest moment.
That seems like a fitting way to end this. Live from France, Tyren Johnson rubbing salt in my wounds from last year. Tyren, thanks for coming on. We really enjoyed having you. You're very engaging. Make sure you come back and see us again, okay?
Man, anytime. Just hit me up.
Okay, Tyren Johnson, LA United, live from France. Thanks, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it.